Hi, guys. If you're just starting out your day, maybe having a coffee, checking your phone, kicking it, come on down to the luxury lounge. We're going to have a fireside chat without a fire. Are you bummed about that?
I'm really upset.
We couldn't get a fire sponsor up in here.
I saw a whole bunch of fire pits around here.
Do you have one at your home?
I do.
Do you have an indoor and an outdoor fire, Mandy?
So I have a fireplace that I have not completed yet. It's there. It's old. And I just don't think it's safe to operate.
Right.
So I'm working on that, but we do have an outdoor fire pit.
It's very LA.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, indoor, outdoor living.
It's usable 24/7, 365 days a year.
I love it. Friends, my name is Sophie Donelson. I am a journalist and author and a frequent host of Luxury Lounge and Next Stage. If you've seen me around the way, that's me. And I'm excited to be here with Mandy Cheng, who is in from Los Angeles and has had a busy week as far as I can tell. You've been around.
It's been busy. My feet hurt. Yeah. I wasn't prepared for all of
Look
this
at this girl.
Okay, no.
This is your first rodeo?
This is fake. This is
not
your
real. First rodeo.
I changed him in the back.
Okay, fair. Somebody congratulated me on my comfy shoes yesterday, like wearing flats, and I was like, oh, these are my fancy shoes. Excuse me, I have Birkenstocks in my bag. I'm not a fool.
I changed into
these. This is like my 10th KBIS. It's intense. Mandy, you're an incredible interior designer, and you're having a really beautiful and exciting ascent right now. Things seem to be really picking up, and I can't wait to hear about that. We are also talking today about designing kind of like for real life and designing for function, something that you have to do both of, and then also, yes, something that we can show and show off out there in the world and be proud of. Everybody, yeah, even the most kind of self-actualized among us love a home that looks really pretty when you walk in. You said that you live in like a home that's ready to entertain at any time. Is that true?
I'm looking at my friend who comes over a lot. Yes. But it's not because I expect to entertain all the time. I think it's partially my own OCD. Like, I really do believe that if you have a nice and well-curated home, your brain can kind of move on from that and focus on work, focus on whatever else you need to do. So it's kind of my way of like, that part is done, so now I can go do all the other stuff.
I love that. As somebody that works from home, I find that cleaning the house is a really great way to avoid working, which
also
is like, I'm like, this isn't working. I have to go away from the clutter, from the mess. Tell us a little bit about your background. I rarely start from the top, but I think you've had like kind of a cool story and things seem to be like picking up. But you had professionally tried a couple different roles before landing in interior design. And I would love to know, I guess, specifically, what was one job or role you had before being a designer that's had a big impact or helped you do your current gig?
So I've had about 9 lives, so I'll skip the first 8. Prior to interior design, I did production design, so I worked in film. I did nothing that you've ever really heard of, but like production designing for music videos, commercials, that kind of stuff. And I think that gave me a very weird or unique approach to how I do interior design now. So in production design, you go, let's just say, to like a place like this, maybe not quite so big, but something like this where it's, a blank slate, and you walk in and you're with a few other people, and the director will say, okay, we need to turn this into a coffee shop. Go. And in that moment, it's kind of your responsibility to understand what your budget is and how you're going to turn this concrete jungle into a really cozy, warm space, and what materials are and you have to verbalize all of this, like on the spot with these, like it's the director, it's the producer, it's maybe the agent, and you have to tell them, like, we're gonna roll out this kind of flooring, we're gonna put walls here, this is where the barista is gonna be, this is where the cash register, and you have to like lay it all out on the fly in a sense. And I think that pressure and thinking that quickly kind of, I don't know, got me ready to do this. So now you walk into a house with these clients and they're looking at you and they're like, okay, I know that our kitchen is over here, but now we want it in the back of the house. We only have 2 bathrooms. We really need 3. Where do you see we could carve out a spot for a bathroom? So I kind of do the same thing.
Yeah, and have to. Yeah, I think the piece also about like knowing, right? It's expensive to move a waistline, but it's not that crazy to do a powder room next to your bathroom because we already have that there, or like knowing all these sort of efficiencies and shortcuts off the top of your head.
Exactly.
You have recently renovated your own home. Renovation feels like a real vast understatement. Has anybody seen like Mandy's like the videos or Instagram? It is very worth looking up. And yes, like. Wow, you had to have so much imagination and vision for that house, which did not leave you with a lot to begin with, right? Other than probably a location and a lot that seems really cool because you have a cool outdoor space. You were able to make a lot from it. And then you also really, it seemed like you either carved into it or you created space. Because you have an entire downstairs kind of
I love that you think this. It's funny to hear your interpretation of my house.
I guess it was like the first time that I was like, AD's videos are 25 minutes long now.
They are so long.
This was the longest home tour. I'm like, at your house, it's an ample house. It's a generous house, but it's not a mansion.
No, it's
and
not.
They eked out you must have been hustling for that. We're going to talk about that. But was doing that renovation, did it make you more sensitive to your clients and also understanding the real cost of things today and making those decisions one after another? Do you feel like you already had a really good handle on that, or did you get real intimate with that when it was your own?
Yes and no. It's not the first house I've renovated for us. It's kind of all I do is ground up builds or full home renovations. So I have a clear idea of budget. There is still a little bit of shock when you apply that budget to yourself. You know, I can like talk about it all day long with my clients, but the second it's me and it's my pocketbook, it's a little like, ooh, we shouldn't do that one.
Was there anything that you wanted to do that you, for yourself this time around, were like, oh God, I can't do it?
I mean, it's a dream to have Degournay wallpaper in a room. And one day, if I ever have a forever home, I don't know if I will do a Degournay wallpaper somewhere.
Yeah. But that one, we had to let go.
It was like 2 weeks where I sat with it. Because I have this, if you ever watched my home tour, you'll see my dining room is not a dining room. It's actually like a little nook that I shoved into a wall. It's a little inset, and I did a dining room banquette. And it's just where that banquette is that I want to do that wallpaper. But I didn't do it. I'm glad I didn't do it.
You're like a couple parties away from meeting somebody that's going to hook that up for you. I have no fear.
Degournay,
these people are not that hard to track down. Go to London and kibitz around in the fancy bars.
There's like 4 painters, and they're the only ones that do their wallpaper.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it is actual art, and you can remove it.
Oh,
it's just that you're gonna need another spot to put it. It's better when you have a big room. You can fabric back it.
Sure.
And then you lay it on fabric, and then you just peel it down. Yeah, you just take your wallpaper with you. Really casual. It costs no money at all. Really simple. People do it all the time. They do. Maybe not us people, but people do.
Right.
There are people that do. Tell me about getting your home in AD, and was that a big turning point for you? Had you been gearing up for that? Then about... Yeah, it seemed like a very big production to do the video, a print shoot, I imagine, and other assets.
It was kind of a dream come true. I am fortunate. I'm very fortunate to be based out of Los Angeles. And if you feel like you want to work in this industry and you want to be a designer in this industry and you want to have celebrity clients, like, location really matters. So, I've worked really, really hard, but also I'm very lucky that I'm in a town that allows me to have these clients. So I acknowledge that. And because of that, I've also been very lucky to have been in AD before for my other home that is also in Silver Lake. It's very small, but it's built into a hill and it has a lot of greenery. We kind of called it the upside down tree house. So I had a spread in AD several years ago, but I've never had a home tour. So the home tour was a different experience because even though I really do, like, I keep my home it's ready for a party at any time, to keep your house at a level where it's ready for a photo shoot or for a video. So we did it back to back. Photo shoot was day 1, and then the video tour came day 2. And that one night, it was crazy. Like you can't touch anything, you can't move anything. You can't live that way.
Did you stay there or did you move out during this?
I stayed there.
Would you again?
I told my husband he couldn't move around too much in bed that night. Like, just lay down and don't move.
Don't wrinkle the sheets.
Yes.
Don't hover your head above the pillow.
Because I have to steam them, and I'll have to steam them again, and they're coming at 8 a.m.
Nightmare, right? Like,
so much time.
It's terrifying. And like, you use the sink and you wipe out the water from
everything
the
out.
sink.
Yes, everything.
Oh,
the shower.
I'm having, like, hives thinking about it. So stressful.
Repolish the shower glass.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You have a lot of tiles in one of those showers.
Yes.
A lot of polish. What did you put away, hide, change? Like, what part of Mandy was not up for grabs? Like, in that, like, were there sections of the house that you either had to really? Yes, your underwear, but it's not. I mean, as far as I know, it's not hanging out.
Not hanging out.
Yes, it has a dedicated drawer. But what did you have to put away or change? And then what did you fabricate from scratch? Like, what moments did you have to create?
Specifically for the photo shoot?
For the photo shoot.
Okay, stuff that I hid my drying mat in my kitchen, because nobody does the dishes when it's photo shoot. So yeah, like the kitchen daily stuff, I like pared that back. And then stuff that I added, I'm sure there's like something
like,
stupid,
I find that, like
a
laundry
lemon.
Laundry
there's always
rooms,
like a
styled
lemon by
laundry
the salt.
rooms. I'm like, this is a joke.
Nobody saw my laundry closet.
This is, no one does this. This is not at all what a laundry room looks like.
No.
It's insane.
And I hope that everybody understands that. Like, I hope that clients
you
get
do,
that.
right? Do you not look at
can't-
images sometimes and you're like, this is so, like, this isn't even
This isn't
like
real. Nobody actually lives this way.
I
And
sometimes
it's
find like
true.
this isn't even like aspirational luxurious. This is just like ridiculous, and I'm kind of offended. That's my take sometimes. I'm like, you think I'm this stupid that this is how a laundry room looks? Like, no.
No. Nobody saw my laundry closet.
Outdoor spaces are a super good example of what magazines
Yeah.
thrust on people to have. Like, they're like, I don't know, candles and pillows and blankets. I'm like, I live near roads, and that all gets disgusting. Like, we're not leaving that out.
You have to have furniture covers. That's important.
Furniture covers, yeah. Wow.
So you take all the furniture covers off. And then I had to, you know the little green Bissell upholstery vacuum?
Yes.
That thing is a lifesaver for
You like
outdoor
it?
furniture. It's great. I mean, buy indoor-outdoor fabric for your stuff, but also get that Bissell vac.
Anything else that you really like had to like hustle for there? No, just the entire preparation of it is just major, right?
The photo shoot, yeah. I mean, if you've never planned for a photo shoot, so I used, like for other projects, I was so stupid. And I was like by myself too. I didn't have a team at the time. So I would stage for a photo shoot the same day that the photographer was there. And I would do all the flowers too. So I'd wake up, I'd go to the flower district at 5 a.m., get all the flowers, throw them all in the kitchen sink, and we would always decide, like, okay, we'll do the kitchen last. And I would bring all of my staging stuff, spread it all out on the kitchen counter, and as she shot each room, I would prepare each room ahead of her. So like I gave myself 1 hour ahead of her. Do the flower arrangements, take out all of the client's personal items, stage the whole room with all of the props, and then move on to the next room, and she would shoot that room. Right. You should not do that. Do not do that. You should plan like 1 or 2 days ahead. Like start bringing your staging stuff to the house. Figure out what the clients can live with, what they can't. The stuff that they can't live with being like maybe they have kids, you know, so you can't have some huge flower arrangement in their kitchen. So like put that off to the side where the kids and the dogs can't reach, and just know whether it's you or an assistant, you tell them like this arrangement's going to go here on shoot day, and you just keep track of it. Yeah. But don't ever do it an hour before the photographer
Has anybody out there
shows up.
shot their own home, or not by themselves, but like hired a photographer to shoot your space? Raise your hand if you have. No, a couple people. I've done it. I'm a normal person. I'm not a decorator. I'd never aspire to be one. I've interviewed so many decorators. I am 100% clear that would be the last job I would ever take. I love writing about decorating. That's my job. But I've had, like editorial opportunities where my home has been shot, and there's something life-sucking about it. It's like, it's terrible. It's terrifying.
It's fun.
It's just sort of, to me, like just it called to mind all of the ways in which I'm like inadequate at, compared to like the image, compared to like a finished, image.
Sure.
And also, I guess, very sobering of like how much it takes to do something magical in terms of like a room, like what it really takes to get from X to Y to Z. Like it's really, and things through the camera lens, like rooms that are really lovely, that live really lovely.
That is a really good point. They don't translate. They
don't always translate. You're missing like something with enormous scale often.
Yeah,
like
you
something
need props.
It's like why there's like big trees. It's why like Colin King got famous for just like putting he's very talented, to be very clear. He didn't just get famous for putting branches in vases, but also got famous with that. And how big are the branches? They're this big.
Yeah.
They're like, so you can have this loft with these crazy ceilings and the furniture that feels small.
Yeah.
You have to have this thing that translates how big that ceiling is, or else it just feels cavernous or weird, or it's not moving.
Yeah, you have to have. Don't ever do a photo shoot without extra props, really big stems and branches, because the way that the camera captures a space, I don't know, like they want to capture the floor, they also want to capture the ceiling. So if your design does not go from floor to ceiling, it feels really, really bottom heavy.
Yeah.
And you need something to keep your eye going. So that's where these like branches that you can get at the flower district are helpful.
Yeah, and it's funny in the age of, or like at night in your neighborhood.
However you want to do it.
Clip. Depends where you are. Depends the season. But some forsythia on the side of the road are totally
Somebody
yours.
had a 6-foot tree until you came through last night.
Not on personal property, just, out there. I mean, branches are branches. You skim the bottom and they look really nice. It's true if you can get away with it. But yes, and also in the vertical photo, the portrait photo for digital is also comical, right? So magazines were never shot that way. They were shot the way we experience rooms, which is horizontally. And so much design and like the way design is taught is, in this human scale. And then all of a sudden, the phone is
right.
writing that this way. And so if you've ever tried, it's like a reason that a lot of detail shots happen and bedside shots. Like there's a reason that there's a certain number of shots that seem to appear again and again. It's because like it's what works in our space and what can translate. And otherwise, you're going to need a really big branch to hit the rest of that room. Otherwise, your sofa vignette is going to just be this puddle at the bottom. Yeah. Also, I think one of my, I believe that the rise of, painted ceilings, which I like, especially in a paler colored room, I like an enveloping space in a lot of rooms. I think there is something to that because I do. I think that sometimes photos drive the design decisions that we make because that big white gap, somewhere along the lines, somebody, probably a set designer, painted it and we're like, internalize that.
I love to paint a ceiling. I also love to wallpaper a ceiling and paint the walls.
Do you go bold on that, or how? What's your take?
It really depends on the project. I have been lucky enough to have clients kind of seek me out for color at this point. So I have a lot of very colorful projects. Nice. They used to be all white. So
what happened? How did you change that? I feel like that's a pet peeve I hear of so many people are just like, oh, how do we get my clients to make bolder choices?
You live in LA and you have clients that want color. So that client for me, it was Debbie Diggs and Emmy Raver Lampman. They're from Hamilton. I don't know if you guys know them. But anyway, that project landed the cover of AD. And that is, everybody referenced that project. People would write to me and say, we've been looking for a designer, but everybody just has all these white spaces and their whole portfolio is white, and you're the only person we've seen who did a space that has a lot of color. Can you do ours? And I think that was Courtney Lilly, the writer of Blackish. That was his email to me.
That's cool.
So, yeah.
I mean, I also think your own home as designers is a canvas for like,
yes,
if you're not going to show it there, where are you going to see it? You can't be like, I want to work with color. And you're like, and here's my portfolio of my home, which is neutral. Like,
right.
If that's something that you want to work with, you do have to kind of put it forward. And I think that, yes.
I think color is scary for people. I think everybody thinks they want color and then they don't actually know how to do it, which is understandable. But I think if you just try and work with it and you understand, if you don't understand color theory, learn color theory so then you know how to balance stuff, like where you can go bold, where you can go, like how to complement these colors. If you do a really bold and moody room, is that really what you want? Like, is it a dining room or is it a living room? Do you want your living room to be moody? Maybe it's better for a dining room to be that way and for your living room to be more open and airy.
Do clients, I heard you on an earlier panel, I forget where it was, we were talking about like how to talk to
You went to that? Thanks.
I did. I know. I am such a good moderator. I go to other people's panels to watch them.
Thank you.
To know what I'm in for. I'm not a dummy. I know what I'm doing. I did. I went to your panel and you were talking sort of about, it was nice, about not getting everything out all at once at the beginning with your client, that's
yes.
funny because I'm actually inclined to do that. Like, sit down, tell me everything. I want the whole tour. I want you to tell me everything about your life. Like, I want to eke out all this stuff. But the truth is that, like, these relationships, when you know friends or family or you get to know clients, like, they unfold with, like, like onion skin. Like, it's layers and layers, and you get closer and closer. That's why the projects for second, third, and fourth homes, which you always hope for, get
right.
better and better and better.
Yes.
Because you know each other better. But you said there's a certain amount that you can get from a client up front, and then you just have to kind of like keep listening. Or how do you get to a place where you can push them a little bit, or find out what it's a moody room for them and what isn't?
I think, I'm sure you guys can all relate. You meet these people, you don't know them, and they're about to invite you into their house. So it's automatically kind of like an awkward.
Is it awkward?
Yes, it's always
hi.
awkward.
You like show up at their house, or they come to your firm?
And you say hi just like that.
Hi.
You walk in and really just draw out the hi.
And they're like, I'm so embarrassed.
Everybody's embarrassed about their house, and I always have to tell them, like, this is not. Don't even worry about it. I don't even see it.
It's like going to a personal trainer being like, I'm embarrassed about my body. I'm like, yeah, that's why you're here, asshole. That's what we're doing. We're working on your body.
You can't say that.
Yes, I can.
We're being
Who's here?
recorded.
For what? The internet? Jason, I'm fine. He gave me
He gave you a thumbs up.
I used a worse word yesterday. Oh no. I'm disinvited from the internet. It's horrible.
This is the last time you moderated.
This is my last moderating. It's been fun, you guys. I've had a really good time. But they apologize, right?
They always apologize. And then you sit down, and I think my way of getting over the awkwardness is to just jump in. I'm like, all right, we're here. Usually I'll say, let's walk through the space together. Because people, if they're walking and they're standing in the space that's been driving them nuts, if they're narrating while they're walking, they will say things that they won't say if you're sitting down at a table and trying to remember. Like, if they just have it all listed out by room. Or
like they're writing an email about what they want.
Yeah.
It's like,
so it's actually
better. We gotta go.
Yeah. So it's always like, let's walk through the space for each room. Just talk about it. Like, tell me what's going on here. Why did you choose this sofa? Tell me about this paint color. And people will start to say things. Like, they'll say, oh God, and this like stupid nook. Like, I don't know why it's here. I don't know what to do with it. So like, that's the stuff that I file away.
And are you just listening?
Yeah.
Or are you formulating? Or you just try to be like, I'm just taking it in today?
I'm always formulating, even in my sleep. I'm listening, and I'll offer feedback if they ask it, but I will never answer on the fly, this is exactly what we're going to do. It can be like, okay, I understand you want your kitchen to be 1.5 times its size. Let's keep going.
Right.
And then that's it.
Are there, when we've talked about sort of like publishing and what it takes to go from like a room that lives well to one that photographs really well, are there decisions that it's a little hard? I mean, I think with a celebrity client or a bold-faced name client, I have to imagine that you're having a conversation up front maybe with all clients, about whether it's going to be publishable, or do you kind of just like do the work and then you're like, hey,
It's in my contract now.
it's in your contract now? Yeah. I mean, I know people aspire to this.
So I feel very, very strong. I've done podcasts about this. I think if you cannot photograph the project, it's kind of all for nothing, unless you're trying to just gain experience. But even if you're gaining experience, is the goal to only gain experience, or is it to have that as a portfolio piece to get a bigger project? Your iPhone photos are never going to be as good as a professional photo. I know they're expensive, and I know that sucks. You just need to budget for it in the way that you budget for anything else in your business. Without photos, all that time spent was for nothing. So I just think it's so, so, so important.
Ouch.
So it's in my contract.
Has there ever been a moment where people talk about like the last 15%, and that I understand, but have there been moments where you have wanted to or done or pushed for something that you know is going to be editorially powerful? And I ask this because when I was at House Beautiful, there was, what was the phrase that we would call it? Like, it wasn't like memorable moment. We had a better way to talk about like an aha moment or a memorable moment. It was basically like, everything's pretty, but you had to have one de Gournay living room where it was green and they painted the ceiling green. Like there had to be something that if you were describing to a friend, you're like, did you see that project? It was in, Connecticut, and it was really pretty. And you're like, if you don't have the ... and it had the red trellis around the bath, it had the purple ceiling in the bath. You had to be able to describe it with words without pictures. In magazines, that was like one of the criteria of it just was really hard to get published unless there was something that was like a moment. And I think that is still true of what gets published and what gets remembered online. So are there times that you're doing a project and everything's going along great and you're like, we could really use a little action here? Or do you think that's already part of how you design, or
I never design with the intent of getting it published. I also try to publish every single project, but that's not my mentality, because my clients are like, I would be so sad to be a client and to know that I hired somebody that's doing all of this solely for the purpose of getting this published. Like, that's really unfair. Like, that's their house, that's their money. So no, I don't do that. And there's never like a vignette that I'm like, this is the shot. Because usually this stuff that gets published, like whatever the hero shot is never the shot that I would
Really?
expect.
It's not what you have in your mind?
No, I should never work in editorial. I would be terrible at it because I never know what the shot is.
It's interesting. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I hadn't thought about that.
Like, I'll think that this is the hero image and it doesn't even make the carousel.
Yeah. No, I mean, I guess you're doing, no, I mean, you're doing your job and they're doing their job. I mean, that's why I think having a photographer, I think we've all had that experience where you're like, this is the outfit you want me in? Or like,
yes,
this whole house, and why are you still in that corner, photographer? Like, what is so fascinating over there? Like, what are we getting? And then you can get somebody back and be like, holy cow, okay.
It looks good.
Wow, that is really pretty, and I never really thought about it that way, Yeah. That's interesting. What did you do this week? Did you have other, we were on a great panel with Business of Home with Caitlin, because you're a design ambassador. What's your...
So we are, so it's me, Bobby Burke, and Nathan Orsman, and this year we are on the NKBA Design Council.
What does that mean?
Oh God, don't ask me
Oh my
that
gosh,
question.
sorry. Redacted.
So
Don't
NKBA
worry about it.
puts on KBIS, and we are ambassadors. We walk around. So this week, sorry, let me start over. On Tuesday, I don't even know what day it is. Tuesday is when we spoke on the panel, and that was a lot of fun. We just kind of answered a bunch of questions. They projected our projects, and then after that, we walked around. So we went to a lot of heavy hitting booths. We went to Kitchler, Kohler.
Yeah, they trotted you around. I saw you. They trotted you guys around everywhere.
everywhere. So we got really, really cool tours. We went to Brizo. Brizo's booth is really cool if you've never been. That was really fun.
I saw it on the internet. Maybe I'll go in person because it's
you
right
need to
here.
go and run. It's cool. Like, I like their stuff a lot. And then, so that was Tuesday and yesterday, and then we kind of got to bop around on our own. And now I'm here. So
That's
kind
cool.
of gotten to see a bunch. And there's a puppy park.
I thought that was a joke.
No.
It's
at the bottom of the escalator.
Yeah. Yeah, Brian Pagel, who runs the show, was on stage with me the other day, and he was like, "And there's puppies," and I was like, "So thanks everyone for coming." I was like, and then I saw video evidence of the puppies, and they're at the Rosen Center. Yeah, it's cute.
Bottom of the escalator.
That's a cheerful way to break up your intense booth visits.
Socializing the puppies.
Yeah. We're going to ask the audience if they have a couple questions. We have a couple minutes for that. And if not, I have a question or two for you. And then we'll wrap and we'll carry on our day. And lovely Jason here is holding the mic and we'll circulate. And Mandy, you're willing to answer anything. Almost.
Anything at all.
She smiles. Okay.
When you were first building your portfolio, how did you find photographers that showed your vision through photography? Because that's something that I've struggled with, is a lot of the photographers, it looks very stark, like it's almost real estate photography rather than showing it as a creative room rather than like a stark white room. Like they just bring so much light into it.
That is a really good question. When I first started, I mean, I kind of just got lucky. So I was part of a business that's no longer around. I was a freelancer along with a whole bunch of other designers, and they had a list of photographers that you could choose from in that city. And the photographers kind of just put their name in the hat to be considered. And there were like 3 photographers that were all the rage at the time. Everybody was using them. They were shooting very similar styles. But in my mind, I felt like those images felt a little washed out. So I looked at everybody else on the list, and I love an underdog, so just know that about me. There was a girl who had just moved into town from Philly. She was DJing weddings, and she was shooting when she could. She was doing something else random, like walking dogs or like nannying or something. Like she was just trying to make ends meet. But I looked at her portfolio, which consisted of one project, and she shot the interior of a home, and I really liked her stuff. Like, it was very different. She wasn't, overexposing. She had a really good grasp on light and where to focus the lighting in the room. So I just went out on the limb and I worked with her on the first project that really got any traction. It was a West Hollywood house, a Mediterranean style home. And she has gotten so much better since then. But once I worked with her, we just kept working together, which I encourage you to do, because they start to get to know you. They know what shots you like. They ask if there's anything new that you want, but like you skip a lot of steps if you get to know them and start doing more with them. So I would say, like, for you specifically in your town, maybe like look at the local home and decor magazines. Do not look at real estate magazines, because it is a different type of shot. Like, what they're framing is very different. Or, I don't know, look on AD, Elle Decor, Luxe Magazine, like any of those, and see who's shooting in your town and reach out to those photographers.
You can also, it depends if they'll like answer, but a lot of photography assistants are also growing their photography business. So again, it's just like roulette on, you're like DMing somebody being like, I've always loved your photography. I aspire to hire you. If you have a chance to reply, if there's any assistants that you work with that you would recommend to me that are building their portfolio, like, I would be grateful. Ask who they want to promote because that's how it works.
If you have a project that you want to shoot, I know that maybe I'm just old. I don't DM them. It's really hard to like go through all my DMs and answer people that solicit me when my email is in my bio. Email me, because then I can like save it for when I'm at my computer and I can answer in a responsible way. So if you were saying, I live in this town, I have this project, here are my scouting images of the project. Are you available? What's your rate? How many days do you think this will take? and kind of go from there. But if you do it like over DM, they're probably like, you know, at a bar, flipping through their phone, and they might not remember to answer.
I do both. I shot you an email about blah, 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 and I DM them. Anyway. Any other, yeah.
Email me.
Right here. Not Mandy. Email Mandy.
For social media, do you think it's best to focus on posting the final beautiful shots, or do you think there's any value in doing like progress, educational type of content as well?
I think that people love before and afters. They love progress shots. I don't think that your entire, I mean, I think before and after stills are fun for the carousel every so often. But if you're doing like progress shots of a ground up build, for example, don't put that on your carousel, because the progress is so minimal to people that don't know. It's like, oh, I now have waterproofing paper. You know, like nobody really, it's fun for 24 hours. But I do think like a actual before and after is really fun. If you look at my grid, you'll see that I have before and afters of my house. And I think people appreciate it because it also inspires people to understand that you don't have to buy the prettiest house in order to make it nice. Like I went from, it was like a pile of sticks in a shape, like that was our house. It was in true disrepair and it was covered in stuff. So
That one's dramatic.
it is. I'm not saying a lot.
No, I mean, they can go see it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's out there. I also like the educational bit. I was talking about this on a panel yesterday. Don't be DIY about it. You're not trying to teach them how to do it. You're trying to tell them what the money's for when they hire you. So you gotta keep a lens of, here is all that goes into getting my client what they need, not here is how to do it for
How to
yourself.
do it yourself, yeah.
And that, I think, is really helpful of like, we did all these renderings, or like, here are versions, and you're like, whoa, you're at work, you know? I like that.
Yeah.
Maybe one more quick question? Yes, in the stripes.
In the world that we live in, I feel like our clients have any and all images at their fingertips, especially now we're seeing more AI-generated images. Like, how do you align maybe your vision for the home with what their wants are, with like a bunch of pictures? There's a little bit of like a struggle on like, maybe that's not for this home. Like, how do you kind of cross that bridge?
So diplomatic. Maybe not. My designer used to say, next home. That's for your country house. And I'd be
I
like,
say
but?
that
And she's
too.
like, it's for your country house. I know that that's not a thing. It's for your country house. We're not doing that in Queens, Sophie.
I think that you have to, and I have this happen to me a lot. So, you know, everybody has Pinterest and they pin like 50,000 images that I have to go through. And I think it's important to separate them, and you can say, okay, this works for a mid-century style house. This works for your like ranch home. This works for this. This grouping here works for the house that you bought today. And you have to tell them that. And you have to say it with the utmost confidence, and you stare them in the eye so that they believe you and don't waver on that, because they're looking to you to be the expert. But if you don't sound confident, they're going to wonder. And anytime from that point forward that they're like, but what about this? You cut off that sentence and you say, no, we're not doing that. It does not fit with this house. When you buy another house, this would fit with this style house. So if you feel very, very strongly about this style, remember that for the next house that you get, because this will go there.
Such conviction. It's hard.
You have to do a lot of this.
I hear designers talk about this, and like, you really have to believe in yourself. And I think
Yes.
that's a hard thing to grow, and no one's going to give that to you. Like, you just have to feel it and be like, no, this is my job. This is my job. This is what I do. I think about these things all the time. And you have to remember your client's coming to this with this greenness and just trust that you have a gut instinct, and that's okay
yes,
to
you
say.
have to believe what you are saying.
I believe what you're saying, Mandy.
Thank you.
I do.
I mean, I could
you
sell
are
you my left
convincing.
sock.
You're kind of a tough cookie. You're convincing and like intense. I feel like your clients probably really respect you.
They all think I'm intense.
They all think you're intense. She's the boss. Don't forget it. How did you become like that? Were you like that as a kid?
I think my parents made me be that way. I grew up in a restaurant. My parents owned a restaurant, and I was like this shy little girl. And they wanted me to be sociable to their customers. So like, I would try to hide behind my mom, and she would say, "No, Mandy, you need to stand in front. You need to say hi, and you look them in the eye." And I think that like taught me how to do that. I don't know.
It clicked in. That's really cool.
Thank you,
This
Mom.
has been so fun. Thank you for sharing
It's
your
been so
stories and being really candid and sharing advice. I learned a lot. I appreciate
It's
that.
been so fun.
What
Thank
are you
you guys
doing the
for
rest
coming.
of your show?
We are going to bop around as fast as we can, and then I have a flight to catch.
Yeah. Samey. I love that. If you race you to next stage, I'm on in half an hour.
Ooh.
I'm going to run with luggage. It's going to be
Have
really
fun.
glamorous. I'm not going to be all
there's
schwitzy when I
Belichick
arrive.
for that.
There is? No, but I have to take a taxi from there. It's a
okay.
whole thing anyway. Maybe see you over there. Friends, thank you for coming. Thank you for your great questions and your attention
Thank
and your
you all. I
smiles.
know
It's
it's
been
early. I
so
appreciate
nice. I know
it.
it's early. Enjoy the show, you guys. Thank you. And Jason and the team at Flying Camel, thank you guys so much.